loss. Just regular loss.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, if you say you were on the streets, that means like something different to... never mind. Never mind. There's no time to explain this because compLexity are making their way towards the long position. It's Dust 2. There are very long ranges. It's the pistol round. They've got no P250s. They are content with 2 men on utility and 3 with Kevlar, the Glocks and so on. So they have long. But Vitality have USPs, and that may be the deciding factor here. But then again, maybe it won't be.
Shazam's on a pretty passive lurk there towards upper dark, because he's going to have no action this round at all. Alex is doing some good damage with the help of RPK, and this is being slowed down pretty effectively. And again, Shazam's in the B-bomb site, but that's not really going to help anyone. So effectively, they're down a man in compLexity. But it looks like it's still going to work out. Obo will be able to take down one of the sites. Sick doing some work as well. And, you know, finally getting into the mix there, Shazam. I need to get taken down by Apex. But now down to the star. Zaiwu. How much can he get done? Nothing. Obo gets it done with a 4K. So not a bad debut. First round on the stage. And he's got himself a quad kill. Not bad.
It's not too shabby. I wonder if he's so young that he... I mean, I guess it varies from person to person. But right now, I wonder if he's so young that nerves are just like not really a thing. But of course, we're playing... It's on LAN, but the crowd aren't here until later in the week. So if they manage to make it towards the stage and you have the entire audience ahead of you and you can see them from your booth, then that might be a different story altogether. But we'll just focus on what we have in front of us, which is Dust 2. So far, so good. Man like Death leading the charge now. Has some confidence in doing it. I can hear people shouting downstairs as well, so I think they've got good support. I know Jason Lake will be making his way over here from Dallas. Always good to see him.
Absolutely.
A keen scuba diver as well.
It's always interesting. You know, some people and everybody handles pressure and nerves differently. Obviously, it is effectively just something that's in your head. You know, it's not something that, it's just, you know, the stakes, you know, you think about your career, you're thinking about, there's so many different elements that can apply pressure to people, and a lot of them can be pretty individual. And so it is interesting to see how people handle it. Sometimes you get these phenomenal players that their first event, they'll just be stone cold. And those are the kinds of people that are just made to compete. But that's very rare. That's pretty rare. Most people take, you know, at least a few events to kind of warm up to the idea that everything's always different, and you got to find comfort within that. But can add to those points later on as we are into the round here. And it's a full buy for both teams. Well, I say full buy. Vitality don't really have nades. They've opted to get all the orgs. They've got an AWP with no Kevlar or nades. There's no kit. This is, it looks good until you start to look at the finer details, and it doesn't look that
so it really isn't a full buy at all, basically.
No, it's
You've defrauded the audience again. Shazam's got the scout, worth noting. RPK has crept up towards top mid. He spots somebody. He swats one. He's got help as well. Def, I don't know if he wants to go for the repick. There are grenades flying in, and the CTs will be forced away, but they'll be forced away with man advantage. That won't last very long, though, because Shazam is making use of this scout. But now he's got an AWP to contend with, and that won't go so well for him. 2 remaining players for compLexity. What do they choose to do? Rikke and Sick. Rikke low health with UMP. Sick high health with an AK-47. He may want to lead the charge. These movements can be heard by Alex, by the double doors. And it seems Sick will go for the long rotation. They've got a time to do this. However, RPK has made his way through long doors, and he may just get some sound cues. He'll have a complete off angle if he does. Sick is going by, he's hugging the wall basically, so he is as far away as possible as far as sound cues are concerned, so that's pretty cool. But now here they are. He's ready for it though, instant headshot from him. The bomb's been spotted, and now it's a race down long.
And Rikke gets the info as well that the one's going CT. Get the backstab, and that's beautiful. That will allow a free cross. Down to Zaiwu, he's only got an AWP and just nothing else. Just no Kevlar, nothing. It's going to be very awkward. He's going to be approaching from CT as well. And so Rikke is going to be out of the picture completely. Zaiwu's going to effectively just have a 1 versus 1, but he's got no kit. So that will give ample time for the rotation, even if he gets a quick kill and sticks the bomb, but doesn't even guess correctly to 6 positions, and he will go down and the AWP will be collected. So a clean 3-0 start for compLexity.
Can I just note that Zaiwu was almost perfectly on the head in that 180. That was pretty close, but the bomb was planted for short. But it is great play from compLexity. Again, there's lots of screaming downstairs. So definitely that NA hype, keeping the players focused. really good start for them. The tougher tests are yet to come, of course. We've got an eco situation for Vitality, NBK with a scout. We see him do some nasty things. He's an under-the-radar scout player. Pretty dangerous he can be with this, but this is a tall order. There's plenty of Kevlar as well. So again, I think, considering where compLexity are, I think this is one of the best maps they could start on, because it's one of the simplest, one of the most familiar. So it won't be the kind of headache that, let's say, like an overpass might have been. But Vitality, they don't mind a Dust 2 pick. Some might say they're fond of one. And we've got people like Zywoo on the team, of course. Plenty of danger to be had.
They're playing for aggressive opportunities there towards Catwalk, but there doesn't really seem to be anything for them to do there, and that's just kind of how it is on Dust 2. You just don't get too many options when you're on that CT side with a buy like this, and you can hold on to Catwalk, which they've done, and so they have at least a position to work from in the defense here of this A bomb site. However, compLexity are not committed, but it looks like they may be going for the committed play regardless. And this is difficult, especially with those close smokes on crossover. Oh, there's the pop flash. I was just about to say, that's the danger. When you throw the close smokes and big damage done by Vitality. Oh, it's getting really, really bad now. Just Sick left coming in from Catwalk. Doesn't expect there to be one so close. And he gets tagged by the scout as well. The NBK's done severe damage.
Yeah, this is disastrous, all things considered. I was going to say before I threw to you, I wonder if the timing on anti-ecos is going to be an issue when you've lost your in-game leader. I think I hear some Vitality whoops now. This is good. Man, there are some really fun videos, especially in the Brazilian scene. Not that it's so relevant to this particular matchup, but from the 1.6 days, people going crazy, shouting at each other on LAN. But here we go. Always fun to have. 3-1 in favor of compLexity. That is not a good sign, though, to lose a round in such a fashion so early. Losing by timeout against an eco on Dust 2 of all maps is a pretty bad sign.
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal by any means. And it is, again, it can be quite awkward when you're trying to bully your way onto the A bomb side. It's harder than it seems, especially when those pop flashes come flying in. But another long take, a delayed long take coming in from compLexity. And doing this makes a lot of sense because if you're running a lot of defaults, you know, CTs will often have 3 at the beginning of the round towards the long position to get that position, to trade it out and to stop you. But if you come back there later, there's often just one guy. So if you have correct utility placement, it's pretty easy to get this position if you want it. On the T side, for very limited utility, there's just one flash. Pretty much enough to deal with this. But RPK's going to be sticking out there. He's going to go for the re-peek. Zywoo in a committed position. He can't really fall back in time, and they will take him down. And this is problematic for Vitality now.
He legged one, and he'll be followed up upon. Perhaps not. We've got a bunch of players who are low. There are no dangerous grenades, though, in the hands of Vitality. Just a smoke grenade to create some space. We've seen this before, but it's not quite done the job as we've seen in the past. There was a gimmick smoke at the major for G2, I think it was, but and that's actually allowed them to pull one frag back. If NBK could find the right place, he might find something nice, but no, he will be denied. Again, 2 players in the red. The trade, though, will go in favor of compLexity, and they're back to their winning ways.
And that seemed like a missed timing between RPK and Zywoo there on the long defense. RPK swung into all the players on long. He didn't have a flash to assist him, and Zywoo wasn't really in position to fight with him. We see that Zywoo comes in at a timing where he can't actually correctly trade for RPK. So that was a bit disjointed there. And hopefully that's something that they can sort of fix. But that looked like a communication thing, potentially, Vitality. However, again, you know, they've been playing better and better and better recently. And so I'm curious to see what bouncing back will look like if, you know, if that is to happen. But I'm also pleased to see that compLexity get a good start, something to work with.
Smoke on the Xbox. Deny information through mid. No one spotting, though. Vitality with a 3-man focus towards A. Apex will spot with the MP9 in case somebody pushes through middle doors. Not looking to get picked off in that position. Low on utility, high on sniper rifles, vitality, snipers and scopes, and Zoe doesn't miss on this occasion. RPK with the P250. Oh, the bait is unbelievable. And that bait has crushed around for vitality. That's an awesome three-man setup, and that has to be something they've made on the fly, but that has worked to a T. No answer to any of these frags. Shazam left alone 1 versus 5 with 40 seconds to presumably try and save this, but Alex is flanking. Insta headshot, follow-up bullet, and that is a pretty solid round from vitality.
Yeah, I was going to say that, you know, because I just made the point before about how, you know, teams will, if they, you know, they'll go for long takes at a delayed timing so that you're only fighting against one player, and perhaps vitality just wanted to just guess and sort of have that gamble set up towards the long position, kind of counting on that, and that's exactly what happens. compLexity went for another delayed long take, and they got absolutely blown up because you don't expect there to be more than one player in those deep positions. So, indeed, a good response from vitality, sort of adapting to their opponents. Ooh, how did that... Did that do... That is 0 damage?
No, it did damage.
Did that second one do any damage? Either way, just pistol to worry about. The Org only good for 1, though.
But can it be retrieved? The juicy prize, which will not be denied. Oh, Obo! This dude is putting in some nice frags. He's giving his team an opportunity in a very unlikely situation. They're in a winnable spot now. That box is wallbangable, but vitality are backing away. Oh, have they gone for a save? Man like Obo.
That Deagle frag came out of absolutely nowhere. I was
15-year-old roadman.
It was impressive. That one frag just changed everything. It just forced a save immediately for vitality. That's also does to, you know, there's this element of timing on you know, in Counter-Strike. If you're able to just eliminate the defense as quickly as that, it can just be the round over sometimes because there's so much time for positioning to be favorable for the T side. I think one good example we see that really often, sometimes like at least once or twice a match, is Inferno. Like when you have, you know, when you rush up Banana, you kill 2 CTs immediately, the round's over at that point.
All right, here we go. Not bad. See how he repositions. It's pretty calm, pretty standard stuff. Very level head for such a young player. But that's why he got here in the first place. 5-2 in favor of compLexity. Vitality haven't chained any rounds together just yet, so again, it's still looking good for compLexity. You take one, we'll take one back. It favors us. Now, the Orgs, I think one of the best examples of the power of the Org is the defense of the B bomb site on Dust 2. Maybe we'll see it again here from NBK. So far, so good. Who gets sprayed through the smoke, though? Do they gamble and push through it?
Looks like that is the case. Obo lurking towards the double doors. Won't be able to find his kill onto RPK. And however, compLexity are in a position where they can make something work here. They have to get the bomb down pretty much now because the CTs will likely wait until everybody's in position to attack. So you kind of have that grace period where you can get a bomb plant without worrying that the CTs will push on top of you whilst you're doing it. But even still, you can see Rick plants in the safest spot, making sure that no one can dart through the smoke through the doors to take him out as he's planting. Shazam playing the big box. It's going to be very difficult here to hold on. You've got to have some correct guesses. You're not going to expect there to be so many players from the tunnels. Apex in with the trade very quickly. Down to Rick with the AK. Flash up high. Where's the follow-up, though? Won't be coming out in time. Zai darts around the corner with the CZ. And another important round for vitality. But these rounds that they are winning, James, they're always kind of like this, a bit messy.
Yeah. Maybe hard to counter a team with a new in-game leader. Can't really prepare too much in this situation. I think especially on a map like Dust 2 where Def might call based on feel. If it was a more complicated map structurally, then they may have to rely on old tactics and the counters will be more relevant. So that may have a part to play. Shazam going for a peek. The timing, I'm surprised he didn't get a frag there. Maybe slightly too early. And he'll be forced away. A deep Molotov and Vitality have control of long. That's little expense. Hasn't cost them any personnel for sure. So they've got a 2-1-2 set up on this occasion, Vitality. Alex with an off angle, presumably looking for players coming out of the lower tunnel. There is the lurk smoke, so it could be, well, it's gone pretty deep, so NBK's got a pretty good positioning. Pretty confident no one's behind it. With a good lurk smoke, you can have 1 to 5 people behind it. You could jump onto the double stack in that position, or creep out the other side, just burst. There's a lot of different things that you could potentially do. But they're not terribly concerned right now, Vitality.
So tower control has been achieved. And the A bomb site is pretty weak at this point in time. You can see Alex is out of position. Playing from CT is never ideal. If you have Alex in a spot like he is in at the moment in CT, this setup is more suited to deal with B splits than A attacks. Because as you can see, like, you know, Zywo is pretty much isolated towards the car position if they were to go towards the A bomb site. So just a couple flashbangs timed correctly blows up Zywo's position, and there's position on the site with the bomb down for very limited cost. But Alex has somehow found a perfect timing for the flank here. So I don't know how he's done this, but this could be massive. Oh, Shazam, what a flick coming in. And that's going to save their bacon. And I don't know if they'll be able to recover now, but Zywo's in there with a surprising frag from the back with the CZ as he now creeps up the ramp to try to stop this defense from working out. Shazam, he can't get anything more. Now Zywo's got the AWP out, and he's not going to miss Obo. And Rick has been shut down as well. Despite a beautiful shot from Shazam, it looks like it's all for naught.
That was absolutely nutty. Finally, Vitality started to string some rounds together. 2 players survive. Lots of strong frags there for Vitality. They made it a really horrible position for compLexity, even around the time the bomb was planted. Zywo's angle, his teammate behind him with the AUG. Absolute carnage, and the scopes are coming out for the French. 4 AUGs and the AWP. If you've got the money, then buy it, and they certainly will. They've put compLexity in Eco Town, so very likely we see Vitality catching up now and tying the score. 4 Desert Eagles out. Shazam obviously saving for the bigger guns. But these Deegs could be very interesting. See if Obo can pick up some more, as well as the rest of the team. Probably nice for Sick to have another younger player on the team.
Yeah, he's pretty wishing that he had the opportunity to play with a team like this when he was younger. I think Sick has had a slower trajectory than I think his skill should suggest. That's okay. He's still in the game, although not in this round at least. And there we go. Yeah, Sick actually coming up at the same timing as Twist. They were on the same team at one point. But it was Twist that got scooped up by Liquid, and
he's 20 now. Sick.
Wow. I think when we were first casting, it must have been like 17 or something.
I'm pretty sure he was 17, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's weird to think about. Oh, what a shot. That's for the crazy flick. Boom. Amazing stuff. Alex, I thought it was guaranteed for 2 there, but still in that round, thanks to Zywo, they managed to pick it up, and it's been pretty smooth since then. Got the timeout from compLexity. They have a good amount of rounds right now, but let's not forget, you know, they did pick up the pistol. And since that pistol, only 2 rounds have been claimed. So despite some of the messier rounds, Vitality have been showing some good adjustments. I've been enjoying the aggressions from Vitality too. Oh, beautiful. The timing, 151. It's working out. Go for a fast push behind it.
Up close with the AUG. There's one. There's another one. Big info with the bomb there as well. And here's the variance around the smoke, but it's not favouring compLexity. Maybe they can still do something about it. Can they take Zywo out? There's still flashbangs to come. He's looking on the floor, creating space, trying to delay these players, but the cavalry is getting taken out. Zywo's still alive. That's a massive problem with the AWP. RPK from the back. Ricky gets whacked, and that is Vitality in the lead. Nice.
Yeah, that almost like a debate, you know, because they get the pick, and so, you know, it's a 4 rush into B. You're hoping that it was like a 2-3 setup at the start of the round, which Vitality have done a few times. But Vitality actually sent 3 towards, you know, mid and B there, so wasn't quite as weaker defense as was expected, I think, for compLexity to have to deal with. And back to the pistols again. So I wonder if we'll see the catwalk to short plant setup, which is so common in rounds like this. They've got the Xbox smoke already, so they can somewhat freely make their way up towards the catwalk position. It's a position which you kind of want to hold. Oh, sorry, you don't want to hold close as the CTs. You want to play it like the retake setup that Vitality have here that's more consistent against the pistols, which would do pretty well at this range, trading in numbers. You got catwalk, now what?
Now what indeed? Alex sees one of the 5 players cross the doors, trying to figure out maybe what is going on. A Molotov answer, and he will stand between these. Got to be careful for a flashbang. He's seen a lot of players rotating towards B. So compLexity have kind of given a game away in that respect. And Vitality are expectant. They've got a pretty deep smoke there as the flank taken care of. NBK holding his angle. Apex playing anti-flash. And I don't think there's a lot we can expect from compLexity in this situation. Vitality just got too much info. They have range, better weapons. There are no grenades for compLexity. NBK needs to hold an angle. Apex there for cleanup as well. And with the information in mid, everything goes as it should.
Yeah, looking pretty smooth and expected. The results that we're seeing so far, and yeah, I think this is where it could get quite interesting. If we're going to see a comeback from compLexity in this half, obviously after these 5 rounds in a row from Vitality, it would be now. Shaz on the AWP looking for that timing. 151, not going to cash anything this time. But a fast long taken in from the compLexity lads here. Sick running backwards as the flashes will be detonating in the sky. And it's going to work out, it seems, as he gets position. And Alex has no idea he's so far forward. Another one going into the hands of Obo, and all of a sudden, just like that, a 5 versus 3. compLexity with big advantages. But Zyro is still alive.
And that's the problem. Molotov will force him back, but it won't force him out necessarily. Nobo will be eliminated. There's a smoke grenade from a teammate to create some space, and that might nest a second kill, or maybe not. More of a Scream-esque grenade going backwards towards his own team. Ooh, has he got the flick? Does he see through the corner of the smoke? Just not in time. You just waited for the flick to come, but it was Shazam to deliver. Man advantage for compLexity, but they're all in long. NBK looking through mid doors, moving towards the short position to help his teammate. Def has a smoke grenade, which he'll be lining up. So I think that goes to the bottom. Next to CT spawn. Yep, there we go. Marvelous stuff. I keep forgetting that one. And a Molotov towards the top, but it's about trading. They go straight into the Orc. The Orc's so powerful in these kind of situations, and everything changes. 8 HP for Shazam to kill 2 players who are lined up for a double peek. This should be impossible. It pretty much is. And there's 8 rounds for Vitality.
Yep. Wasn't expecting such a strong hold there from Apex. I actually think that position is really annoying sometimes because you don't really expect someone to be stood up there by those like boost boxes, and even though it's a one and done spot insofar as if you try to reposition after killing someone from that spot, you're dropping off. You're really exposed. You can't really reposition in a mid fight either. It kind of sucks, on the face of it, but because no one expects that angle and it's a bit elevated and all that. It can actually often be very strong, converse as to what you might think. Either way, another round for Vitality, and compLexity still scratching their heads as to what would be the best approach against Vitality's current defense. And I think one of the problems is Vitality keep mixing up small elements of their timings, their setups. So it's hard to know how to react, I think, to them.
6 rounds in a row for Vitality. Only 2 rounds remaining in this half. Early smoke up top. Molotov to deter a push. NBK with a cheeky push himself. Looking for a second one. But the UMP will prevail. Zy was there if needed, but he's not. So Apex will maybe have some more visualization of a potential push towards B. Or Def eating a grenade down to 25 HP and he sees nothing. No answer. No response. Nothing you can do really to that. All the players lower tunnel or towards B. It's Molotov to go off one of the doors. That'll force Zywoo back, but 3 guys on Dust 2, or any map really on the T side. Pretty difficult to get something to work.
The movement in this round from Vitality has been amazing. They gave up long, they had a cat push, they had a push from doors into lower dark. They had Zaiwu there as well. They had so much pressure on all points of the map. They were just outmaneuvering compLexity, taking the initiative repeatedly, which is difficult to do on the CT side of Dusk, but they've managed to do it in this round pretty well. And now they just chill. They've got the 4 versus 3. They're just relaxing. Oh man, what a setup! How do you deal with this?
Well, by creeping towards the B bomb site, it seems. Is that enough for the bomb to come up on a radar? The flashbang from the teammate, but he can't quite get the fatal connection, and that will be the round shut down. They had one opportunity, it failed, and that is 9 rounds for Vitality. A rough spot for them. They did pretty well to create the opportunity in the first place, but it wasn't enough.
How many rounds would compLexity have if Vitality would have picked up the pistol? Obviously, they've only made 2 rounds work since then, and Scout comes out, Galil on Obo. Not an ideal situation. It's been fun, seeing some moments here or there for Obo. That's not bad. Shazam taking the head off of Zaiwu, and the tag onto MPK as well. We keep getting the brazen challenges. Perhaps not, but it might not even be necessary, because here we go. Opening onto the B-bomb site. They're going to go in as quickly as they can. MBK knows that time is of the essence. Goes for a quick push through the smoke. Is there another one? They don't expect there to be another one. Oh, the bomb's been dropped towards long as well. What on earth? You don't expect to lose the bomb there after the quick opportunity was seen at B. RBK's taken one opportunity of his own.
Yeah, everyone's been deleted, and Shazam is left with a Scout. 1 versus 2. Fair chance he could pick up a better weapon, because this is not ideal. Plenty of time. I don't know if we can hear Alex. Oh, that is a very important headshot to make. Of course, he delivers. No idea where RPK is, though. He's got 2 kills. Maybe there's some rough information, but he's got to get that bomb. Moving away, looking for a rotation, but RPK is further back. But there may be a meeting of the minds. He's going to look the wrong way. Ding dong from RPK, and that is half-time. Vitality 10, compLexity 5. We'll see if compLexity can do more after this break.
And we're back. Welcome to the show. We've got compLexity and you look compLexity with the debut performance of Obo. Looks pretty good, but what they are facing is quite difficult indeed. It is the 4th ranked team in the world. It is Vitality, and Dust 2 Well, they are certainly no strangers to it, and they had a fantastic first half, 10-5. Despite losing the pistol, they still have a dominant performance. And if that is to continue, compLexity don't have much more time spent on Dust 2 here today, I think.
Yeah, this might be rough for them. Def is 3 for 13 as well. It might be, well, it's not might be, it definitely is early to be like, oh, is in-game leading having an impact on his own performance? It's one best of one, so I think there's no need for that kind of talk just yet. Shazam is quite famous for his pistol prowess in North America, considered one of the best pistol players in NA, and he does continue to show us why. And he's put his team in a good spot. Apex and Zywoo, the last players remaining. P2000 has been picked up, nothing doing for Apex. Zywoo with 12 HP, 1 versus 4, picks up the gun for range, drops it because he's taken out by Sick.
I like how he's like desperately trying to reach, so please. But no. A must-win pistol has been collected thanks to these efforts from Shazam. Good work, very calm. Kind of lined up for him pretty nicely there, and they needed that so desperately. They picked up the first pistol, they picked up the second pistol. They're going to need everything to go in their favor to take down Vitality. And Shazam, oh, he's got a beautiful spot here with this org. Going to spot a bunch more players towards the catwalk position, towards middle. They're going to rush him down. Will they get him though? Nope, the lineup is pretty damn nice. And that's the round over with. Nice and quick.
It's not bad when you're the sniper for the team and almost everybody runs at you. Bonus money, which may come in handy later. That is a long string of C2 rounds between the two teams. But now is the first buy for both squads, and the only AWP is with Zywoo. 15 for 8. Lovely stat there from Pinnacle. I wondered if he was going to hit 2, but he definitely hit 1. So Riquet will start somewhat handicapped in this round. But it is a takeoff long position, so that'll be a relief for him at least. Shazam taken out with 2 taps from Apex, just the one required of the AK-47. So how will you respond to this compLexity? Don't really have the ideal weaponry just yet, and Vitality are creeping up long.
There's no answer to this at all. Long range spray, and compLexity have no eyes on long whatsoever. This round is a foregone conclusion. I think Apex, when he killed Shazam at Catwalk, we saw that compLexity kind of doubled down towards middle and B. So for whatever reason, they read that as perhaps more players towards the B side of the map, and they completely gave up the long position, and that's exactly where Vitality was. So this kind of made this round look a bit weird from that perspective. As you can see, like the fact that they got taken down, or they lost a player in mid from crossover with you know, seemingly unexpectedly, tells you a lot. Well, Vitality will be happy. They'll have an easy pickup of this first round on their T side.
Yeah.
You seem gobsmacked, James.
Yeah, it was just a little unusual there, but here we go. It'll be interesting to see what compLexity can do this week so early. But it's a good showing from Obo so far. I've seen some nice frags from him. And now there is a test to be had. Sick has spent a fair chunk, 2450. So it looks like the force buy maybe a while until we see an AWP bought by compLexity. But this is a pretty solid buy. They've got an AK-47 and 4 AUGs, so not too much to complain about. Now, with a tactical timeout in this situation, do Vitality expect some aggressive play from compLexity, maybe a boost of 2 plays on short or something like that, a play through B halls of a certain timing, a stronghold of long, and what will they do something funky in anticipation of that? Not long to find out.
Yeah, you know, we haven't really seen you know, Zywoo's opening on this T side just yet. It's so early, and already there it is. Big shot through the door there, doing massive damage to Sick. As another fast long take comes in from Vitality, looks very successful. Uncontested, compLexity will fall back, which means that they will be occupying Catwalk, which is a pretty expected response.
It's compulsory.
And so, you know, it's often the case once you force the CTs to occupy catwalk, you know, how do you deal with it then? You know, do you have a set piece where you put everyone through long and you shut down catwalk with smokes from long? Or do you actually try to take that catwalk position, try to frag out using utility, just attacking the catwalk position with 3-4 players? That looks to be the option here. We'll see the first initial grenades exchanged. So it's really critical for compLexity to be able to hold on to these positions, or at least get lots of kills.
Ricochet with one through the doors. What kind of ninja play was that from Alex? I don't understand the science behind that. Obo moving forward ahead of the flashbang. How many can he deliver? Just the one on this occasion. 3 versus 3, but the entire A side has been lost. Long and short in possession of Vitality. A quick flank attempted by Shazam. There is a smoke now. He's got a gamble. Does he want to go through this? Presence being shown. They'll spray. That gives the game away. RPK moving forward, Shazam gambling after all, going through the corner of the smoke, and that leaves the plant for the platform for Zywoo. He's got an AWP. Can he make his way towards long, or will he hold his ground in this position? Trying to avoid flashbangs if he can. There is a very high one. Quick 180 from him, almost 2. And now just Sick alone, easily taken care of by Zywoo. 5-round lead for Vitality.
Yeah, such a strong post-plant spot for him. compLexity doing what they could, but it wasn't enough. And the problem is that Vitality, the round in which they showed us there, it was really simple and it's very replicable. You have this situation where you get a long take. So far, compLexity have not been challenging for that, and I can understand why. You know, if you go for the challenge, you're basically saying, okay, well, we live by this challenge and we die by this challenge, because either you get positive trades or you're in a even trade, which is still bad. You need to be in a positive trade. That's the only thing that's really going to work out for you. So a lot of teams don't like going for that gamble, but you may have to do that. Otherwise, Vitality can just go for a long take and get it for free all the time. And if they have that, now they've just shown that they have a strong attack for catwalk to follow that up with. So that is a terrifying precedent. And so the test here for me is whether Vitality recognize this and just say, okay, well, long takes work for free. Let's just do that. And then attack catwalk again. They can't hold us. And so here is Apex going for the timing with the AWP. And there's nothing here. It is free once again.
Flashbang doesn't quite do the job, but the smoke does. Apex is not shy, however. Playing with the AWP, presumably based on spawn, once they feel like it's safe to swap over. Perhaps it will go to someone else. Zywoo making his way in. Flashbangs too. That's a nice flash, actually, to jump into the platform. Well, not the platform, the ramp position on long. And then start to look to see if anybody's lurking behind the boxes. Alex makes his way to the mid area. Cut off rotators, perhaps. They'll have to assume that the short position is compromised, as it should be. And here comes across from the other 4 Vitality players. Def doing a lot of damage through the smoke. That is colossal. That could be everything if compLexity can capitalize. There is a flank from Alex. Labored spray, a huge headshot to 180. Looking for more now. Oh my god.
That is nuts, isn't it? Alex has done so much damage on the flank, and that's so critical. And once again, we're in the same situation. Zywoo are left alive with the AWP post-plant on the A-bomb site. And so, we get the jump up on top of the, I forget what those things are even called, but an elevated position above the smoke for MBK with the Krieg. Oh, this is just so difficult. Imagine being up against Zywoo in this kind of a spot. It's the leg there, trying to bait out the shot, but Zywoo will be forcing his way forward with the pistol, and that's all that's required. Great decision-making from him, and that is 14-7. And so, again, the rounds are sort of finishing in exactly the same ways. What a play from Alex. After such a labored spray in the first engagement as well, he manages to get 2 more after that. And the money is gone for compLexity. So here we go. They'll do what they can with the Deagles. Vitality know that they don't have anything to work with. Ooh, missed shot there from Zywoo. That's going to pay off, I think, here, because there's actually quite a few pistols left here for... Never mind, they're all gone. They've been eliminated. The B-bomb site's been taken by force, and Vitality looking to move to 15 rounds very, very soon here. And they're just they're just outclassing complexity, James. There's not really much else to say.
Yep, and that's the way it should be. All things considered, stronger team, full team, new in-game leader, and so on. All the factors at play. It is all good. Def is 4 for 17, which is really weird. Again, it is short term, but I mean, this is a guy who I believe it was Def who Cloud9 wanted at some point in the past. He's very highly respected in North America, but he's been extremely loyal to the complexity brand, a brand which got him a P1 visa, which proving more difficult to get these days. But in the short term, it seems that he is on the struggle bus.
Yeah, Dusty is a really hard map. If you're not able to, I mean, I think it's like anything. I think it was mentioned on the desk before. I think by Chad, just the fact that Counter-Strike is more than just having players with ability. It's about setting those players up and getting them into the game. I think a map that particularly emphasizes that is actually Train. Because T-side of Train, you can have incredible players, but if they just can't get into spots, you know, in through the relevant choke points, you're never going to see any of that class from them. So as a team, you've got to set these guys up with good utility, good movement, good spacing, good coordination, a good game plan. And that's difficult to assemble, but that's what Counter-Strike's about. With the right eye peek here for Zaiwu, pretty favorable peek here for him, but okay, everyone's just taking grenades out, and all of a sudden, worst possible timing, Obo swings in with a triple. Now down to Alex in 1 versus 4. And Obo's, he's had enough. He has had enough.
That is beautiful timing for complexity. Vitality turning around to line up grenades and getting shot in the arse. But there's a lot more to do for complexity. Outside of the pistol, that's more or less the only round they've won in this half so far. So much to do. Not looking too likely, but you never know. We've seen comebacks from worse. 2 AWPs for complexity, Ricky and Shazam. And maybe the CT side will be where Def finds himself some frags. So Ricky's in a good position. If he gets flashed, he will be able to make it towards the B doors. And there is the flash. There is the shot. He actually has his teammate for help as well, so he won't even be forced away too much. Just have to use the flashbangs to re-aggress and take the angle once again. Meanwhile, there's more harassment towards shorts.
Yeah, so you can see some good work here from Vitality, some good pressure in mid, pressure on catwalk, a lurk smoke on upper dark. This, like right now, what Vitality have shown can mean absolutely anything. But from what we can see, obviously, we see that the burst through that lurk smoke is a possibility, which we haven't seen just yet. A smoke is popped up again. Rick is just taking pot shots through this smoke, and eventually he's going to have to reposition. There's a Molotov there as well. And Vitality, they left Alex on catwalk, so that does keep that option open. Obviously, you know, he can lurk it, or it can be this case where it's like, all right, that play towards B did not really work out. Let's shift things up. We still have map control towards catwalk. Let's use that and attack Shazam.
Lining up the grenades once again. There is the setup grenade. Allows the deeper Molotovs towards the ramp where Shazam is standing. Flashbangs as well, so he's been compromised in all the positions he wants to play, but he'll still get a frag onto RPK. 5 versus 3 for complexity. He'll want to keep the losses low, and so far it's perfect. It will remain that way. They take 0 points of damage in that entire round. The bomb is planted, but at this point it won't be a factor. It's all about winning, well, every single round for complexity. So that's fine.
Yeah, I think, you know, one surefire thing that Vitality can count on is the long takes. I mean, it's obviously something that is just generally a pretty favorable way to open up rounds, but it has been very consistently working for them in spots where, and there's a lot of spots where complexity just decide that they just give it up. And Vitality have proven that should complexity decide not to fight for long, that Vitality always end up on the upper hands when the round is followed up on. And Cyrus consistently getting those shots through the doors, which is always nice. You can see his teammates, if he'd made a frag there, would have been ready to burst in towards B, but instead now Xbox smoke will likely come in and they can cross over to catwalk. Oh no, Xbox smoke. In fact, they're going for a split here. Very fast B split is on the cards, potentially. at least the threat is there.
Yeah, but Def seems to be expecting something. He's in the Matrix, boosted up already. Ooh, finally getting the kill. That's the bomb, so that's pretty much confirmation. Don't need much more information than that. Trying to throw a Molotov, and maybe that was asking too much, trying to throw it on the bomb, of course. But that did cost him. And now Rikke is exposed, and this could be the end of the line for compLexity. 2 versus 4, Obo and Shazam. We will need an exceptional performance from them, especially with any flashbangs, no mollies or anything like that to compromise the positions of the players on the site. This is a very tall order, and they fear a flank through the doors as well. A few shots to ask a question. Who goes where? AWP, only good for the 1 kill, really, and then Obo's got so much to do, but he's blind. Shazam taken out, and it's the Obo, the new man, the last man to fall. And there it is, 16-9, a ultimately comfortable win for Vitality.
Yeah, it really was. You know, despite losing the first 3 rounds and things looking a little bit